Freshly pressed on Smooth 98.1. Headlines,
Studios live, mics are up.
Get quick access.
Two notes from Page Financial. Page Financial, taking you further. Get quick access to notes from Page Financial. Page Financial, taking you further.
Good morning, Lagos, and thank you for joining us. If you're tuned in from outside Nigeria, we thank you for downloading our app or joining us through our website. We encourage you to go to www.smooth91.fm or download the app. Just type in the search box Smooth 91 FM Lagos. You'll find us. The same thing you type on YouTube, and you can find us and subscribe. So you're the first to get a prompt when we come on live, because we're live on YouTube right now. You can send messages through WhatsApp 0809 444 0981. On Twitter, we're at Smooth91FM. The hashtag is freshly pressed 981. Please join me as we welcome Justin Ijeh to the studio with us as our solo analyst today.
Good morning, Lagos.
It's such a good day to be alive, Justin.
Yes, we're flying solo.
With all the interesting stories. All right, so we have, just to give you an idea, if you are following us, if you've already added us as a contact on WhatsApp, you'd see the headlines there, on Twitter as well. We have 8 stories to go through. Ganduje dethroned, first Nigerian test positive to coronavirus. Buhari sets up committee to assess impact of coronavirus. Contracts, MDAs reject 7.5% VAT. Federal government moves to minimize crisis as ASU begins 2-week strike. Buhari fails to appoint heads. A comprehensive report by Punch. Lagos Assembly sacking 2 principal officers and suspending 2 members. Nigerian condemns social media bill. These are all the stories we'll go through. Time permits us, and we encourage you to send your messages right now to WhatsApp 0809 444 0981. Be part of the conversation. So, Justin, let's start with the first one, the Punch. Very long story, interesting read. It's a movie we are all experiencing together. Kano State, the government swung into action as at 8 a.m. yesterday, invited pressmen to the State House, saying there's a big announcement in the offing. Everybody was waiting with bated breath. About 4 p.m., military personnel was already coming in, and all the drama just because they were going to remove Sanusi and replace him with the late uncle's son that he took over from.
Yes, and the headlines read like, I don't know what to call this, but when it rains, it pours. We just can't seem to catch a break. The Sanusi saga, this began way back in 2014, actually.
Mm-hmm.
If for those who remember, the guy who's just taken over from Lamido Sanusi was a person who it was alleged at the time was the rightful heir to that throne. And then the same political shenanigans that we're seeing now played out then, and Sanusi left the CBN where he was governor and went straight to the Emirate in Kano. Be that as it may, what played out yesterday in Kano was yet another travesty of justice, if you ask me, in the public space in Nigeria. This is clearly a vendetta, in my opinion. We all saw it. His being vocal, his being outspoken has not been received well by the establishment. And in the sector, this is what you would call constructive dismissal.
But let's practically lay out the allegations by the state government, what they said he did wrong. They didn't, interestingly, accuse him of saying things he wasn't supposed to say. They just said he was disrespectful to the state government, insubordinate to the state government. That he does not, come to events that he's been invited for, official events that he's requested to be.
It's curious that that is the hill they choose to die on, given that there have been several corruption probes targeted at him. I would have imagined that you would have had some really substantial stuff to say, that this man has embezzled the Emirates fund, this man has done this. But he's been through all of that. I think there are still some of those issues that are pending. But then this process was accelerated, and in a space of 6 hours, voila, a new emir had been announced. But the critical part of this, and there's nothing to be happy about this. In so many ways, traditional institutions are being destroyed. But if there's anybody who can deal with this, I think it's SLS. Lamido Sanusi. He has the wherewithal to address this situation. Again, his personal liberties are being curtailed. He's been banished to Nasarawa State, and regardless of what the antecedents of the issue were, to the point where you've removed him, and now you are curtailing his movement by banishing and restricting him to. So he's effectively under arrest.
No, but the reason they gave was because I don't know why I have a problem with that word banished, because it seems like a punitive measure of the highest level. But what it is they're saying that the reason why they sent him to Nasarawa State away from Kano is because there can't be two kings in one land.
Oh, okay. Where does that leave the question of human rights, the right to personal liberty, the Magna Carta, the whole principles and the tenets on which democracy is built?
Yeah,
whether he's a chief, whether he's an MN, he has personal rights and personal liberties that cannot be abridged, that should not be abridged by the state. And that's why I said, if there's anybody who can deal with this, it's someone like him. He has the clout, he has the wherewithal, and it will be interesting to see how this plays out in the days to come.
But how much power was rested on him? Because one of the premises they're saying that is the reason why they took him off was because they wanted to break that he had too much power resting on one man, and they needed to devolve it to about 4 to 5 MNs.
Are you playing devil's advocate?
I'm curious. I'm as curious as the average Nigerian out there listening.
Well, like I said, it's really going to be interesting to see how this plays out. There's going to be a lot of play. Unfortunately, none of this is going to alleviate the pains of the Nigerians on the streets in the north. The people that he has been so vocal about, the uneducated, mass poor people of Kano State and the Northwest generally, have nothing to benefit from these shenanigans that are going on.
He said it's better to be a free man without a turban than to be a slave wearing a turban. I'll take messages here very quickly. This one from Shefumi Ege says, making Sanusi an mayor was one of the biggest mistakes Nigeria made. It's like making a Donald Trump the mayor. It's free now because Sanusi is our last messiah, but instead the enemies of Nigeria made an mayor. Interesting, thank you. Patrick says, let us all wait and politicians destroy our institutions for their selfish motives because of what they can give us. A politician cannot be investigated while in office, but a traditional ruler can be deposed while on the throne. But traditional institutions are older than any level of government in Nigeria. He said there is God. Emma from Akoka says, speaking the truth to power remains an extreme sport in Nigeria. Sanusi may have lost out in the Game of Thrones, but his influence still reverberates. I have no qualms at all that with Ganduje, but I'm more concerned about the silence of the lambs. Seems like the voice of Jacob, but the hands of Esau.
Hashtag the king in the north.
Vincent Emeka from Adiba says, dethroning a mayor of Kano is a big embarrassment to the country. This looks political and personal. Sanusi has constructively the government of the day on major economic matters. Dethroning Sanusi is the price he has to pay. With time, Sanusi will freely express his vision for Nigeria. Chikagina says the dethronement of the former mayor is quite unfortunate, but a little wonder did Sanusi know that he was wrongly accused? Ijeh will eventually be what the message is a bit convoluted. We'll go back to it later. Bengo says, in as much as I understand that Sanusi has the tendency to be arrogant and full of himself, I think Ganduje went too far by dethroning him. Everything that transpired was just politics and power play. For Ganduje to have successfully dethroned him with any unrest and resistance from the people might mean that Sanusi wasn't even as popular as we think in Kano. Let's move on. We'll refer to more of the messages because they're all pouring in. Excuse me, the next one is from the Guardian newspaper. Coronavirus, the Nigerian tests positive to COVID-19, a strain of coronavirus. Your thoughts on this, Justin?
I'm a bit apprehensive about the whole Wuhan virus. I personally insist on calling it the Wuhan virus because you know what? When Ebola was named after a river in Africa, because supposedly it emerged from the Congo, right? So this one came from Wuhan. So I'm gonna keep calling it Wuhan. So the Wuhan virus has me a bit apprehensive. Why do I say this? We seem to have lulled ourselves into this illusory state of we're doing well because we got the case of the Italian and there was the tracing protocols went into place and now they found the second person. But here's where I have a problem. How many test kits do we have? Are we testing enough? It's the absence
of evidence of absence in this case, right? Only 2 cases at this point in time. Is that because we just have 2 cases, or is that because we haven't been testing enough? If you look at the pathology of this thing, the way it's been growing geometric proportions in every region where it's shown up, leaves me thinking to myself, we shouldn't just focus. And hey, the NSCDC, the Nigerian Center for Disease Control, is well. Let me just say, put that out there. They are doing well with this particular case that they've been tracing. But my problem is with the wider healthcare community. Are we ready for an outbreak? What is our state of readiness for an outbreak? If this thing slips through and gets into the general population, what is the state of healthcare? How many test kits do we have? How many centers that can actually handle cases that are positive do we have in the country? Across the cities, we have dense population numbers, right? So this is where I get a bit agitated when we talk about the Wuhan virus over here. All of the narrative, all of the reports coming out about that index case and the tracing protocols that have been going on, and the gene sequencing, the genome sequencing that was, all of that is good, but let's keep our eyes on ball. If this thing slips through, what is our state of readiness? Do people have access to centers where they can actually be taken care of? That's the conversation that we should be having.
Thank you, Justin. It seems so, from the response from the NCDC, the National Center for Disease Control, they're saying they're being very proactive to make sure that there are no extra cases, and if they see any of the any sightings, they would immediately curtail it. We hope for the best. This one here, what's your name, please? Add your names to your messages so we can take them. Shivzi says, never outshine the master, and also adds, prevention is the key. Our government needs to be proactive in this corona thing, and Wuhan or corona prevention is key. Waji steps in to say, why have such a perspective towards how a doomsday or towards a doomsday prophecy? It's a viral infection, it's not a plague. Prevention works. Wash your hands and stay clean. Let's all cool down. Justin, no need to panic.
Waji, take it serious.
I guess we could take it serious now that the president has set up a committee to look into coronavirus, especially with reference to the 2020 budget. How does this affect the budget that's pegged on, let's not even start with crude oil benchmark, but then on coronavirus? What's the connection? How much money could we as a country invest in coronavirus efforts?
Okay, so here's the thing. The budget, you can't talk about this without talking about the budget, the crude oil benchmark.
Okay, let's bring
right?
that
You
back.
can't, you just can't. There's no way. There's no way. Because we've seen about $15-20 wiped off oil price in the past week.
Right.
That has sent all projections into a tailspin. Right? So your budget benchmark was $57, where as of yesterday we're at the $30 crude per barrel of crude benchmark. And you already had a deficit budget. Right?
Yes.
At 10.59 trillion.
Yes.
So this committee,
And then we borrowed money.
that's the whole point of the deficit. So the committee, I don't know that they needed to be a committee, because what's their day job, right? The people mentioned in this committee, the CBN governor, the Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Budget and National Planning man Clement. These are the people who should have on Monday gotten together and asked themselves, anyway, guys, this is where we are. What do we do, right? But hey, they've been formed into the mandate of the committee is basically go and review the budget. There's nothing else to be discussed. They are not actually discussing the Wuhan virus per se. They are discussing the economic fallout, which is oil price is now at $30 per barrel and counting, because Russia and Saudi Arabia are having a standoff at the OPEC and OPEC plus levels.
Yeah,
so this price war that the oil giants have started is probably going to push oil below $30 benchmark. Where does that leave Nigeria? That's the work of this committee, and I think they just have 2 days. Their report is due in tomorrow. And hey, it's not like they're doing a lot, but as usual, we're being very reactive with a lot of things. So they're basically just going to go and review the budget downwards, increase the deficit, and turn their searchlights on you and me. If you thought 7.5% VAT was a problem, wait till you see what's going to happen next, because this government needs money. And they just got told that where you thought the money was going to come from. It's not coming from there.
And why I completely agree with you, Justin, on the motive behind the setting up of this committee, really directed at the global oil prices against coronavirus. It's just because it's constituted by members of the committee, or the chairperson, the Minister of Finance, Budget and National Planning, Zainab Ahmed, and other members, for Petroleum Resources, Timothy Silva, Governor of Central Bank, Godwin Emefiele, Minister of State Budget, Clement Agba, and then Group Managing Director of the Nigerian National.
Did you see the Minister of Health there? What does that tell you? They are not talking about the virus.
It's money.
It's money.
Now that links us very nicely into the next story about that. The ministries, departments, and agencies who've been accused by the SCPC, accused by the several agencies, pursuing corruption, saying that the most corrupt agencies or bodies in the country, and also which you alluded to in our conversation before the show started, that most of them do not have a significant head to oversee the functions of each committee, which sometimes is shrouded, with so much vagueness. They are now saying that no, we do not like the 7.5 VAT. It doesn't apply to us in terms of contracts, because the accusation, which seems valid, is that the federal government still gives them contracts with the former VAT, with the 5% VAT pegged to it.
What they're saying is they had existing contracts, right? That enacted when VAT was 5%.
Okay.
But the kicker is, this is coming from ministries, departments, and agencies of the same government that just implemented an upward tax review. And it does my head in, because laws change all the time. I'm in the private sector. I also have contracts that were probably enacted when VAT was 5%. I do not have the luxury of turning around to IRS. Sorry, wait, this one is not
but that's
subject
a loss
to that.
for you, Justin. Let's like you're just referring to, as if you own a company, you're running your company, you got a contract with the 5% then, and then you're implementing it now that VAT has increased. How do you now?
I take my loss.
Okay.
You don't have an option now. The law has been changed. So that's why I'm saying, why is it government agencies that are making these comments? I mean, people moving mad. I don't know. The comment is just.
How about the other part where the FRS said they're deploying technology? When you use such phrases, it makes me feel like there's something out of the world that's coming in. But how do you perceive it?
Yeah, so what they've been trying to do for some time, which has been meeting a lot of resistance, is they're trying to create a central transaction processing server, right? Where, a lot of payments are now electronic, right? With the kind of regulations we've seen in the payment space, businesses have no option now but to make payments electronically. That means an audit trail is possible, logging is possible, tracking is possible. So it's actually a no-brainer to do that. In this environment, however, things that are no-brainers often become rocket science. There's a lot of influence, there's a lot of behind-the-scenes horse trading that is happening, and the FIRS is not having a field day trying to implement it. Actually, it should be plug and play. I mean, most payments pass through NABs anyway, so if you have an interface with NABs, you will be able to capture transactions and then calculate the applicable tax. So it should be a straight through processing thing, but hey.
I've never really gotten an idea of this, but I've been meaning to ask, how far into the informal sector will this cut?
Yeah, so there's a limit to how much they can capture. I mean, you just use the phrase informal, right? If it's informal, nobody's paying anything, you can't capture anything. So the whole point of a lot of the payment regulations you've seen is to try to force a lot of, so for instance, in a few months, able to withdraw, there'll be a penalty for you to very low amount. I'm trying to remember how much from your personal account. Basically, they are disincentivizing cash transactions. Yeah. So penalties are being placed on certain amounts that you either withdraw or deposit from an account. So they channel it through the system, so that it becomes visible and trackable.
Awesome.
But the FIR having the success. So
they're still trying though. Yeah. Nee reacts to this story. He said VAT is applied at point of invoicing. So you change the VAT, the VAT, value added tax, when the service is made or goods delivered. So it really doesn't matter. The customer pays. Bola says, morning guys. The committee set up to look at economic impact of Wuhan virus in medicine. Is medicine after death, in my opinion. It should have been done long ago. Government needs to be proactive rather than reactionary. Another message from Yomi from Bagada says, dethroning Sanusi on the same day the anti-social media bill was being marketed to the Nigerian people is instructive about the politicians' apathy towards any form of criticism. His only offense, in my view, is that he spoke against the powers and they do not like it, just as they don't like the truth, and sometimes are revealed through social media. Barry from Lekki says, there are two committees, please. One headed by Minister of Finance to deal with the budget review and the other by the SGF for COVID-19. And then again, we ask, where's the health minister in all of this? Prince Larky says, our government is just plain lazy. We should just be basing our economy solely on oil. And now, by now, all these years, with our resources, we have all the resources we have in the country, and the reactive nature of our government is so appalling, beyond Corona and all. Thank you, Prince Larry. I guess we get the message now. Let's move on to talk about the strike that was looming. That's the word. And then finally it's here. But they call it a warning strike. Is there any way that you see that the federal government in the next 2 weeks can sway to ASU's demands?
I happened to flip channels yesterday and I came across the ASU committee. And I let me not be disrespectful to the elderly gentleman that I saw, but listen, I've never been a fan of ASU. Being someone who did my first degree in Nigeria, I was never a fan of them. They have perfected the art of majoring in the minors and taking the P. We all remember just before the elections, this hoopla. And as with all things unionized, handshakes and all whatnot, and the noise died down. Here we are again, 1 year after, and we are talking about federal. If you don't want to do it, if you don't want to do the work anymore, I don't even know what you're teaching children in those schools anyway. There's a story here where 80 agencies of the government do not have a substantive head, right? And I bring this up because it's quite relevant here. One of those agencies that does not have a substantive head is the National Institute for Education Planning and Administration, right? The National Institute for Education Planning and Administration. Also, these are the battles that you need to fight. If nobody is planning the education policy, which we all know needs a revamp, which we all know the curriculum needs to be changed, needs to be upgraded to meet modern standards, then I don't know what people are fighting. What was this agreement that was reached in 2009 where we no go drink water, drop cup? Please.
Thank you. Reacting to the stories, some more. Bayo from Lekki, thank you very much for pointing to this, because I looked it up. I saw that there's a committee, the other committee that he met, has 6 months mandate to deliver on the assignments, and it includes the Minister of Health, Professor Sagie Hanire, Minister of Interior, Minister of Aviation, Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management, critically people that have a stake, the stakeholders in the affairs and how it affects Nigeria's economy, the business.
They have 6 months to do it.
Of course, now to look into the impact.
The virus will be marking time and be waiting.
No, it's still here, and it's definitely going to take longer than 6 months to check. All right, Justin, let's move on to the next story. Federal moves to minimize crisis as, okay, we've talked about this. Buhari fails to appoint heads, boards of 80 agencies. Is a Punch investigative report, but please x-ray that for us.
People, you just need to go and read this. Excuse me. So the Punch had gotten wind of the fact that quite a number of agencies, and some of them very important, have neither an executive head or a governing board or both. And they initially tried to get clarification from the office of the SGF, and they were rebuffed. They tried to go the route of the Freedom of Information Act, and they were stonewalled. So they did it the hard way by just hitting the streets and finding out what was happening at the agencies. And my God, it's amazing. 80 agencies. Let me just read out some of the names of the agencies that do not have it. The entire aviation industry, which although have operational heads, have no governing boards. There is no governing board for any of these agencies. Federal Airport Authority, Nigerian Airspace Management Agency, the Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority, the Nigerian College of Aviation Technology.
There are some more important ones. The entire top management of PENCOM was sacked by Buhari in 2017.
There is one individual in charge of PENCOM. She does not report to a board. She does not have commissioners. One individual in charge of PENCOM. People, do you know how much passes through PENCOM? There is the Nigeria Office for Trade Negotiations.
I know you were asking me questions.
So you ask yourself, all day we are traveling to look for investors, we are going for trade missions. Who's coordinating it?
The president.
There's nobody in charge of the Nigeria Office for Trade Negotiations. Who's formulating policy that is advising the president? The Nigerian Center for Energy Research and Development. Hello, power. It's please people just read the Punch article on this.
I think you're even going very far. The most recent one is the NDDC. Having no substantive management team for the past 14 months due to politics between the leadership of the APC.
Well, in the case of the NDC, at least they've just had a series of acting committees, and then they bring them in 3 they're out, they bring in another set.
But like you said, it's an interesting read. We would encourage you to go through the details in the Punch newspaper. I from VI says, ASU cannot continue to blackmail the government every time for trivial issues. They shouldn't be paid salaries until they agree to be part of the APIS. They should also not be paid for 2 weeks strike period. There should be no work, no pay. But also, ASU has they have their own grievances with the federal government, and they're just hoping that they see eye to eye and have a middle ground for their conversation.
Take several seats.
And then Deepo says, pretty sure the federal government can easily replace everyone who strikes. They should. ASU is antiquated. And Lagos State Assembly is making more sacks like some other states. Well, they sack 2 principal officers, suspends 2 members. They've done this. Now, it includes the chief whip of the House, Honorable Rotimi Abiru, and Majority Leader, Honorable Olumiwa Jimo, over allegations of gross misconduct. Justin, your thought?
Interesting things are happening in Lagos, and I've learned how not to trust too much in what I hear, what I see, until it all plays out. What we're often told is not actually what it often turns out to be. But the facts are that 2 more people have been sacked. It does make me wonder, though. These are elected representatives of the people, so you can. I'll probably have to go back to the books and check what the statutes say. But yeah, I conceive the possibility of you sacking them from being principal officers. But should you be able to remove them from their house positions, given that they are representatives of a constituency without recourse to that constituency?
I would say yes, in a way, because 26 members of the House signed a letter, jointly signed this letter, wishing to notify the House to change the leadership of the House, presented it on the floor. It was read on the floor by the clerk, Mr. Aziz Sani, and from where this
so that's what I'm
made.
saying. Are you removing them as principal leaders in the House, or are you removing them from the House? That's what I'm not clear about from this article.
If they still remain members.
Members, yeah, exactly.
I see where you're coming from. Well, thank you, Justin. You've been a good sport on the show. Everyone who's listening, please, let's continue this conversation. It doesn't end here. Although it's a no-brainer.
This social media story.
We're going to talk about it later on Lagos Talks 981. It'll be the Sanusi story. But join us then. We'll continue with the hashtag Freshly Pressed 981. Justin is on Twitter as Justin Ijeh. Stay with us.
The headlines. The story.
What's it do? So I give them hell. Oh yeah, he was representing Sahara reporters. Say this bill is dead. We just came here to bury it.
Straight up, we gotta have some boldness. Johnson.